Hello, this is Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Welcome home. Soar into tower. We are ready for takeoff.
Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hey, it's Amy from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey Clubbers, it's Scott from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey, it's Kathleen from DVC Clubhouse.
Welcome aboard. It's Phil from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Debrief Podcast brought to you by DVC Clubhouse. This is Amy, and I am joined by my co-hosts Phil, Scott, and Kathleen.
Hey, guys.
Hi guys.
Welcome aboard, guys. She did it again.
Perfect.
When I put my mind to something,
52 straight weeks. We'll soon find out.
we'll see. You know, I
Yeah,
have
we will
I
see.
have a good history of starting things off strong, but then just slowly kind of falling off the wagon. So we'll see.
I was gonna say that confidence just took a dump right there.
I'm going to try my best, guys. Try my best. It's all we could do, right?
It's all we can ask for.
You did a great job tonight.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, I already know that I'm going to have to edit out Scott eating candy through this episode.
Ah. You can hear that?
Distinctly.
Yeah.
What are you making? He's like making something with his candy.
Oh, I have Valentine's gummy hearts. I didn't realize I sounded like a horse when I was chewing them, but now. Anyways, I guess I'm not going to be eating.
I mean, first it was the bag crinkling.
Man's got to eat.
Yeah.
Valentine's gummy hearts, to be exact.
Well, you know me and gummies. Gummy hearts.
Yeah.
I'm glad you clarified that one.
I had to put that in there.
All right.
So anyway,
yeah.
What are we talking about?
So tonight we are going to have a kind of talking about like the best resort for specific things. And we have a long list of those things. So we've decided we're going to split it into a couple episodes. There I go again. It's what happens when you work in magazine ad sales. You talk about issues and not episodes. Yeah.
Although we've had plenty of issues.
Magazines, psychiatry, you just spend all day long talking about issues.
All of the issues, any type of issue. So we're going to talk about the best of for different categories. The best.
We need an award name. Like they have the Oscars, they have the Emmys, they have the Tonys. What are we going to call this one?
Oh, the Golden Mickey, the Golden Clubby. Yeah, it's got to be something.
The Golden Clubby?
That
It
sounds
sounds like a drug.
that sounds like it needs to be part of the Patreon.
The Platinum. Here we go.
Oh god, it has to be the Clubby Awards.
The Clubby Awards. Okay, I like that.
So we're going to start by presenting the award, the Clubby Award for the best DVC resort for families. And just so everyone who's listening knows, we haven't come to a consensus. So we're not presenting you with one winner. We're all going to share our vote for the award.
A consensus? I haven't even thought about this yet. I'm totally making this up on the fly.
And then maybe when we post this episode, everyone can kind of chime in and pick the one that they think is of the ones that we chose, what they think is the best. So make sure that you follow us on Facebook so that you can chime in with your vote for each category. So best DVC resort for families. What do you guys think?
I have a question. This is DVC, this is DVC.
Right.
Okay.
You cannot pick Port Orleans for every category. I'm sorry.
Right.
It is on my list, but I just
Shocking.
wanted to clarify that. But okay.
You can go first then,
Me?
since you have a list.
Well, I would be happy to.
Well, hold on, Scott. I have a question about your question. Were you clarifying if it's all DVC resorts or if we're just talking DVC at Disney World?
Correct. I wanted to know if it was DVC all inclusive, like any resort that you could book on the DVC website, or are we just sticking to the world?
Let's stick with Disney World so that people who are listening who are trying to figure out, the best resort for them when they go to Disney World.
Yeah, we're going to
Well,
get into is Beyonce country kind of conversation here if we don't narrow down the rules.
Yeah, right.
Based on that answer, I do not want to go first.
Why?
Look, I totally understand. I just pick Yacht Club across the board, so I'm going to have to rethink this.
I can go. All right. So my nominee for best DVC resort for families. Can I have more than one nominee? Sorry.
No, you have
What?
to pick one.
You have to pick one.
He's back to not going first again.
I need candy.
I need to chew loudly while I think.
Just pick one.
Well, okay. I'm just going to go. I guess my nominee is Beach Club. I'm going to go with Beach Club based on proximity to two parks. If you're planning on visiting two parks, I'm also going to choose it based off of arguably the best pool on location for any DVC resort.
I'm shocked.
Huh?
I'm shocked.
Well, I kind
Me
of,
too.
I really, the more I say it, the more I don't even like my nomination.
Well, you picked it.
Because I didn't really have time to think about it since everybody made me go first.
Well, you picked it.
But yeah, I mean, I guess, when you think of families, you think of what they like to do. If you're doing a very long trip at the parks, there's always going to be a pool day. So you want to have a great pool. And like I said, when you do go to the parks, you don't want to spend hours waiting to get back to your room. It could be a 40-minute bus ride. It could be whatever. So how nice is it to just be able to walk back to your resort? So I think based on those reasons, it's an excellent nomination for a clubby.
Did you say chubby?
No, I
He
said
did.
clubby. There's the edit button.
We are officially off the rails, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I'm going to chime in here because my vote is also for the Beach Club because in addition to the reasons that Scott gave, I think that it has two great family dining options with Beaches and Cream and Cape May Cafe. Plus, it's in walking distance to the Swan where you can play mini golf, walking distance to the boardwalk where there are other restaurants and Surrey bikes for rent. It's got a sister resort attached to it, which with, Ale Compass is a great family option. So I think that overall, there's a lot to do in that. Like, you don't even need to take transportation anywhere to do a lot of the fun things in that area. So my vote goes to Beach Club.
Okay, well, I was going to go with Boardwalk because I think it has all of the benefits you mentioned. But as I've said before, I think Stormalong Bay for a family with small kids is just a stress level times 1,000 because it's so easy to lose your kids in that pool complex. But because I have to be different, I'm going to go with my number 2, which is Polynesian. And I'm going there because you have 2 pools. You have an amazing feature pool. You have the view of the fireworks at night at Magic Kingdom. If you don't want to go into the masses, there's nothing better than sitting in the pool with a Dole Whip watching the fireworks. You have a ton of dining availability between it and Grand Floridian next door. You have the monorail, the walk, and the boats to Magic Kingdom, and a short walk to grab the monorail to Epcot.
Polynesian was my second option. And I just want to correct you a little bit. Now it has 3 pools.
3 pools, that's right.
Yeah.
I will see that new pool in just 80 days. I completely forgot about the new pool at the tower. 3 pools.
All right, Kathleen, you're up.
Well, my number 1 was Beach Club for all the reasons that you guys gave, and my number 2 is Polly. So there you go.
Well, so I mean, I guess the winner on the podcast is Beach Club, but I definitely am curious to hear what our listeners and our Facebook group think. So
Yeah, Beach Club was on my first list. It's just the lack of visibility across that pool for young kids that just tosses it for me.
I'm so curious with this very prolonged closure at Stormalong Bay if they are going to find some way to address that, but that remains to be seen. So it looks like our first clubby is kind of going to Beach Club.
What was your other one that you wanted to?
Yeah, I struggled with this because I wanted so badly to say Animal Kingdom Lodge because of the obvious reason of it being kind of like a standalone where, you're not going to see animals. Kids, families, that would be such a great place for small kids to just be able to go to, and you don't have to be in the parks to be wowed by it. But the reason that I really didn't say it was because of all of the other reasons. There is no close proximity to a park. You rely on bus transportation. The walk to your room could be 10 miles long. Dining to me is not geared towards kids.
Mm-mm.
It's more of an upscale.
Yeah.
But, like I said, just that uniqueness of having those animals there, that was my initial thought of why I wanted to nominate that, but then I changed it.
Good choice.
Thank you.
All right, so shall we move on to our next category?
Yep.
So next up is the best DVC resort for couples.
Want me to go?
Sure.
Do it, Scott. If you have one, take it away.
Hang on to your pants, folks, because I chose Riviera for this.
Huh?
Yeah, I did.
Are you okay?
I am. I'm okay. I chose this based on the Tower Studios, and I thought it was one of the best rooms that we've had when we went. It was your first trip, and I just feel like those Tower Studios are perfect for couples. You don't have families, you don't have kids, you don't have to spend a lot of points, and you still get a great view. Transportation could still be considered pretty good if the Skyliner is working. So you do have that proximity to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. Topolino's was on my list because I feel like that could be one of the better date night restaurants to go to. And I just kind of felt like, it's more of an upscale theming. I don't know. I guess it could be geared towards kids, but I just find it more geared towards adults, especially when you start talking about those Tower Studios. I wanted to give a shout out to the Riv.
That was very nice of you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, I feel like I need to chime in again because I also surprisingly am picking Riviera and really it is because of the existence of the Tower Studio that you're able to pick a room, use fewer points, get and have that space, which, the bathroom is really big, which gives, two people getting ready a lot of space. And I think that it does just kind of have, we talked about this once before, that it does kind of have more of a grown up feel maybe than some of the other resorts. And so I think that it would be a nice place to go and stay for a couple's trip. And Scott, you're right. I mean, I think that the deluxe studios are just, they're big. So you would have a lot of space too for two people who are just, on a vacation without kids. It would be a nice room, nice views, decent dining, good proximity to parks. So Riviera has my vote.
All right. Well, in keeping with the order, again, I was torn between two. Emily and I had such a fantastic time at Saratoga when we went there a couple of months ago with the access to Disney Springs and being able to wander through and the beauty of the property. But I think in the end, I've got to stick with the Seven Seas resorts. I'm going to go over to Grand Floridian. She loves Grand Floridian. The rooms are absolutely beautiful. It's got a very adult feel to it. You've got fantastic dining locations throughout the entire property. I can't think of somewhere I'd rather go sit down and have a meal with my wife than at Narcoossee's. The view is beautiful. From a romantic standpoint, standing at the end of that dock or on your balcony and watching the fireworks show is absolutely incredible. You've got the adult shops, you've got the availability of the salon and the spa. I think that for me, I'm probably going to take her to Scott's choice, the crown jewel, Grand Floridian.
And for all those reasons is why I also chose Grand Floridian. I mean, the dining's perfect. Like when you and I just go out, like for our anniversary, usually we go to Narcoossee's, we go to the spa. Well, I go to the spa, but you could get a couples, massage or, couples things over there. Just fireworks out by the water, like everything about it's romantic to
Kind
me.
of checks all the boxes.
Sitting at the lounge, I mean, we went
Oh,
with
yeah.
the kids and it was fun sitting outside, but sitting at that lounge early evening, it's just perfect for an adult couple. Be a lot better if there were still, I don't know, an orchestra in the lobby, but we'll leave that alone for now.
Yeah, that'll always be my number one pick for couples.
So it looks like we have a split decision for couples.
You want to play rock, paper, scissors?
No, we're going to have to let the clubbers on the Facebook choose the clubby.
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to be an interesting one.
I can see your face on that one. I know exactly where you're going there.
So we had Riviera or Grand Floridian.
Yeah, that worked out so well last time.
All right.
All right, so we'll leave that one to our listeners / Facebook members to decide, and we'll move on to the next category. So next up is the best DVC resort for solo travelers. So who wants to go first for this one?
Well, I think Amy should go first since she's a solo traveler.
Yeah, I'm struggling with this one. I've only done it a couple of times.
Most of the time, she's a solo traveler.
So one of my favorite trips was when I was by myself was when I stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge. And so I'm choosing Animal Kingdom Lodge for this one because it just there's so much, it feels like a kind of a grown-up space in terms of dining. There's really unique dining options between Jiko and Sanaa, and then you've got Boma, which is great. But Victoria Falls Lounge and the wine bar, Cape Town Wine Bar by Jiko are really great, especially because the wine bar by Jiko is pretty small. So if you were there with like a larger group, you probably couldn't all sit. But when I was by myself, I was able to grab one seat. It was really nice. But I also love that it has all of the African art throughout the resort. And that is something I spent, probably close to 2 hours walking around the resort, just looking at all of that, reading about it. And when you add to that the cultural ambassadors who work there, there are people that you can talk to and learn from. It just felt like because I was by myself, I didn't really feel like I needed to worry about who I was with. Like I could have conversations and do things that I wanted there that other people might not want to do. Like I enjoyed just like sitting and looking at the animals. And I think that it's a place where you're able to, beyond just feeling like you're, at Disney World and you need to do things away from the resort. Plus they have the nighttime safari, which is that's a fun activity that you can do by yourself because you're not really talking to other people, because you're most of the time, you're listening to the guide narrate the journey, and you are using the night goggles to see the animals. So that was a really fun thing to do by myself, where I didn't feel like, oh, I'm doing this by myself. And it is a smaller group, so you have a sense of camaraderie with the other people. So I really enjoyed staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge by myself. That was, and I would definitely do that again.
What did I have on my list?
Oh, wow.
Amy, we're 3 for 3.
Oh. We're on the same wavelength.
We are. I totally picked Animal Kingdom Lodge for every single reason that you just said. I think all of the things that people kind of complain about Animal Kingdom Lodge, you could just throw that out the window when you're by yourself. You don't have to worry about the transportation. You're on your own time, your own schedule. You can do whatever you want to do. And yeah, everything you said, I totally agreed with it. I had my list written out previously, and that was totally what I had written down. That was the only resort that I had written down for that. Clubby.
Clubby?
Yep.
I'm going to laugh every time we say clubby.
Because we know what he said in the first place. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go back to what was initially my leader in the first for families, and I'm going to go with Boardwalk. even though I'm traveling by myself, I don't want to be limited to the resort. And I understand the allure of Animal Kingdom and being able to do it as a solo, as a staycation. But I still want to be able to spread out a little bit, especially when I'm by myself. I'm down there for the photography. I have my camera with me. I can take my time. I'm going back over to Boardwalk. I think Boardwalk is a really cool juxtaposition of being a great family resort, but also can have a very grown up theme. There's a lot around there that you can see around Crescent Lake. You can go over to Yacht Club and have a fantastic dinner. You can go down on the boardwalk and just people watch. It's beautiful scenery. You've got Swan and Dolphin right next door that have some fantastic dining. And you can go to Hollywood Studios with a quick walk. You can get into the backside of Epcot and really take your time exploring the countries, wandering through at your own pace. I still want access to a park, even though I'm by myself. And to me, Boardwalk probably gives the best immediate access to two parks, immediate access to a whole lot of dining. And if you want to go hang at your resort, you can do that. If you want to go explore around the area, I think it's probably got better proximity to a number of things than almost any other resort has to offer.
So our choices. Did you go?
No, I didn't go
Oh,
yet.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Again, I'm with Phil on this one. I really didn't think about this prior to recording just now, but I sat here a couple minutes ago and I'm like, if I were to go on property tomorrow by myself, where would I go? And I would go to Boardwalk. It's the first thing that popped in my head. I could sit outside. I could take my computer. I could work out there. I could people watch. I love, the coffee at the boardwalk. I can go up there and get a nice coffee. I could, go to Trattoria if I wanted to. I just like being there.
I
And
just
think
thought of that. Sitting out on that deck right outside
Mhm.
the lobby overlooking the green on my computer doing work would be fantastic.
Yep.
All right, so we're tied again. Animal Kingdom Lodge or Boardwalk for best resort for a solo trip. So we're going to need, once again, we're going to need a tiebreaker. All right, so now we're moving on to our next category, which is best DVC resort for a girls' getaway trip.
Ooh, I like this one.
Just girls? Wait a minute. No, just a girls' getaway
No,
trip?
we're going to do guys next.
Well, you said our next was girls only. It seemed rather sexist.
Would you like to do guys first, Phil?
No, I like, but that's okay. You go first. And there's the edit button again.
All right, so best girls trip. What do you got for this one, Scott?
Well, I picked the crown jewel for this one for some obvious reasons. I think you've got arguably the best shopping, which ladies love to shop. They've got some really great places in there, like Basin, and they've got the Curiouser Clothier. I don't know how you say that. There's some good lounge areas in there with the Enchanted Rose. Let's not forget the spa, just in case the ladies want to do a relaxing day at the spa. The pool, where you could also get a cabana. But I just think overall, they don't do the tea room anymore, do they? Like
No.
anything like that?
It has not come back.
Yeah, I feel like dining, relaxation with the spa, the pool, like I said, the cabanas, everything there. I think that kind of makes it just a perfect ladies' day, especially that spa. I mean, I know how much you like to go to the spa. Get a mani, pedi, get your hair done. I don't know what they do in there, but that was my choice. That's the one and only time I picked the crown jewel.
It's a good choice.
Amy, are we 4 for 4?
Well, let me jump
We
in
are.
here really quick
We
because
are.
I think the girls need to do this together. And the only frame of reference I have for this is a friend of mine who has done it in the past. And it really comes down to a money is no object. But she and all of her girlfriends went for the weekend and they got a bungalow at Poly because they said just sitting in that bungalow as the girls enjoying the little waiting pool thing they've got there and the size of it. She said that in her mind and that of her friends was the ultimate bucket list trip for the girls to go away for a weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if points were no object, I would personally say a Copper Creek cabin because I just love that. But keeping it in an affordable points category, I am also saying the Grand Floridian. I am with Scott again. But I'm specifically staying in a resort studio at the Grand Floridian because I think that those rooms are just they're I think that they're just better in general, but I think especially for a girls trip, they just feel a little bit they're bigger. You've got the 2 beds so that nobody is sleeping on a pull-out couch. Typically, if you're going with a girls trip, you're going to have several people, so you could have up to 5 people sleeping comfortably in that room.
Pillow fights.
Also, the right, because that's what we do. We have pillow fights.
Do not spoil this for me, Amy. Do not.
But I love the decor. I think that having the pool right outside of the resort studios is great. But everything that Scott said, the dining, the spa, Enchanted Rose, even the courtyard pool bar, I think is a nice area to be able to grab drinks during the day. The fact that you can hop on the monorail and go to California Grill.
And it had to make its appearance.
So Grand Floridian gets my vote.
Go ahead, Phil.
No, I already gave Polly on this one. I'm just living
Oh, you did?
vicariously through my female friends. Yep, you're up.
So I'm going to let Emily know that when she wants to go on a girls trip, she has your permission to use all of your Polly points to stay at a bungalow.
There's no Polly points left after this stay coming up in 80 days.
Well, typically I would pick Grand Floridian, but since I've already picked Grand Floridian, I'm not going to pick it again.
Hey,
It's fine.
the same resort could win more than one clubby
I think I'm actually going to go over to Fort Wilderness.
for a girls trip.
Yes, for a girls trip. I just think it's fun. I think it could definitely. You could rent a golf cart. You can stock the fridge full of wine, whatever you want to drink. You go, roaming around the golf cart at night. I don't know. I just think it's fun. I like it there. I think a bunch of girls could have fun there.
I think it's a solid choice, and it sleeps 6 so that you fit more than any other, affordable point category. You fit more people in that. Plus, you have the bunk beds, which has like a very like sleepover-ish type of feel.
Mm-hmm. Why are you looking at me?
I'm
like
on board
that?
with that, but I mean, I'm staying with Grand Floridian, but I approve of your choice. I love Fort Wilderness, so
That's thinking outside the box right there. I never would have guessed that.
Mhm.
Pretty cool.
All right, well, since we went first for the girls' trip, Amy and Kathleen have to give us their thought on what they think is the best for a boys' trip.
So I was thinking Saratoga Springs. I was
Good
thinking
Lord.
And you're out.
Well, I was thinking because it's right at the golf course, so if there's golfing, it's got the best gym on property as we've discussed. And the fact that it's in walking distance to Disney Springs, so it has just like a variety, like a big variety of different types of bars. Like there's, you can go to City
You
Works and
realize
you
if
can
you
watch.
said Scott, myself, and a bunch of guys loose at Disney Springs, we're going to jail, right? We're going to need bail money.
Well, I'm assuming that you're going to behave yourselves because you don't want to be banned from Disney. So
Have you met us?
you've got City Works, which is, a sports bar. You've got Raglan Road, which is a pub. You've got a steakhouse over there. There's like I think a larger variety of things that are more kind of like, I guess, stereotypically male, that I think that, that's the first one that popped into my mind is Saratoga.
I can't believe you went with golf and you made fun of my pillow fights. It's just not what we all do, Amy.
Well, if you lived in my life, most of the men in my life are golfers. So,
And most of the women in my imagination have pillow fights.
my ex-husband opened up a golf simulation company. I mean, this is my reality. It's my frame of reference, okay?
Okay, fair enough. Kathleen?
I'm going with Saratoga. Just for the mere fact that Disney Springs is so close. I mean, do guys really go to parks together? Just guys? I'm not really sure, but
Yeah.
I could see them going
Have you
more,
seen the photos that your husband and I took in Epcot?
but I was there. But
Yeah,
if it
but
was
you
just,
sent us off on a mandate together while you stayed in line.
Yeah, you totally dismissed us.
okay, well, when I think of a group of guys staying on property just with guys, no girlfriends or wives around.
You don't think of them riding the Astro Orbiter
No.
together?
I don't.
I immediately went to Aladdin's Magic
I
Carpets.
picture them just going to Disney Springs and drinking. Maybe drinking or I don't know, doing what. But I was going to say either Saratoga or Wilderness Lodge. But I'm going with Saratoga.
Wow. Okay.
It's like they
Well,
don't even know us.
I know. I actually picked Saratoga.
Oh,
I didn't want to say that. So yeah, there's, for all
So
the
there's that.
reasons. Huh?
I said, so there's that.
Yeah, for all the reasons that you guys said. But nobody said treehouse.
You haven't gotten to me yet. Don't steal my thunder here.
Okay. I mean, every reason that you guys said, you all have the picture of us golfing and drinking and scratching our... But I'm going to throw in treehouse, too.
Our own, right? Not each other's.
Scott, I'm going to get you that shirt, Pat McCrotch, for St. Patrick's Day. You can wear it to Raglan Road.
We're doing t-shirt exchange because then I'm getting you Mickey. Foghorn.
It's going to be a long boat horn for
Half this episode is fairy horn.
Oh, gosh.
So I was actually going to go with the treehouse at Saratoga Springs. We had such a fantastic time there when we were all together that the treehouse immediately popped into my mind. You've got access to the gym. You've got the access for the boat over to Disney Springs. You've got the big, giant, wide open treehouse. The guys could hang out there. It would be a lot of fun. But I'm torn. I'm going way off the reservation here.
He's going Fort Wilderness.
I am. For a guy's trip, it's one of the only times I would go there, and I've said that before. Getting one of those cabins with a golf cart. Now, if you told me I could have a golf cart at Saratoga for the treehouse, hands down, I'm going with the treehouse at Saratoga. I think it's better accommodations, a better resort. There's more amenities. The quick serve is awesome. If you give me a golf cart, treehouse all day long. But the thought of hanging around Fort Wilderness, can you imagine a group of rowdy guys at Hoop-de-Doo Review just sharing one big table and the meal and the show, being able to go back and forth in a golf cart with a bunch of guys just reverting back to adolescence, for lack of a better term? I'm thrown a little bit by the lack of amenities. I've always said that I think that's a problem with that resort. But you do have the grills, you can cook out, you've got the picnic table. I think there's a lot to be said for Fort Wilderness for this very specific use.
Yeah,
But you're going with Saratoga.
No, I'm going with Fort Wilderness. The hell with it.
Ooh.
Well, Saratoga wins from the Pod Squad, but we'll see what the rest of the clubbers think. But those are, again, both solid choices. I mean, I think that the cabins of Fort Wilderness, anytime you're going to have a group like that of friends, whether it's all girls, all guys, or mixed guys and girls, like, it's just going to be fun.
I'm actually surprised Scott didn't go there. I was really expecting him to call for the Fort Wilderness guys trip when it was his turn.
I thought it was
I'm
too.
kind of surprised he went Saratoga, but the fact that he mentioned the treehouse makes sense because I'm really torn between the two.
Yeah, I really did think about it because I had the whole thing planned, like matching lumberjack pajamas, waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and pretending to go hunting in the 10 feet of woods that we have behind our... Like, it all crossed my mind, but yeah, tree houses.
I could be convinced.
All right. Well, those are all of the categories that we're going to do tonight. We're going to save the rest for our next episode.
Our next episode of the Chubbies, I mean Clubbies.
Yeah. The Chubby Clubbies.
Perfect. I can let that one get past the foghorn.
Oh my goodness. I think that there's like so much giggling on this. This is probably going to be an editing nightmare for you to edit out all of the giggling.
I leave the giggling in. Most of the feedback we have received, the positive feedback, not the fake YouTube accounts, all the positive feedback we have received, people tend to love this just goofy back and forth conversation. So I'd be curious, as long as you're chiming in about your choices on the clubbies, I'd be curious to hear from our listeners if that really is what they're looking for out of this podcast, because all the positive feedback is kind of surrounded that.
So the feedback is to keep the giggles in.
Just be real.
Just be
That's
real.
one thing you can say about this squad. We are real.
Well, does anybody have any final words to say on behalf of the winners?
We have a couple tiebreakers, right? Which ones were they?
Well, we had a couple of Pod Squad winners, but we had a couple that were going to be decided by the.
Which ones were they again?
I believe it was
couples?
couples and solo travelers.
Okay.
Yeah, it turns out that Kathleen and I are going to the same resort as a couple and as solo travelers together, which is a little awkward, but
Well, the same could be said about Amy and I.
All of them.
Yeah. Right. We picked every single thing. We picked the same.
I'm actually kind of afraid to do the next group.
Well, are you afraid because you don't want to ruin our perfect record, or you're afraid that they're going to be the same? What is your greatest fear, Scott?
That they're gonna be
vacationing
the
with
same.
you at the same resort.
I'm going to take a look at his
I didn't fill them all
list
out.
right now, and I think I know Amy well enough of what she would pick.
Is it looking like the streak is going to continue?
It very well might.
Bum, bum, bum.
It might.
On the next episode of Debrief.
Leaving them with a cliffhanger. All right, folks. Well, thank you as always for playing along. If you could head over to Apple Podcast, give us a like, 5-star review. We would very much appreciate it. Amy?
Mentioned earlier, please, if you don't already, follow us on the Facebook group to join in the conversation and the shenanigans over there. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And until next time, we'll DVC you real soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
And so our journey comes to an end.
Oh, no, please, can't we go back to page 1 and do it all over again?
Started this thing together, and that's how we'll finish it.
Because that, my friends, is where the magic lives.